Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of The Pebble. And I am truly excited to introduce you to one of my dearest friends and someone that I think everyone should know. This is Chelsea Day, and she really is all over the internet. She and her husband, Nate Day, are the Someday family. Started out with Someday I'll Learn, where they were out in California and they were kind of off the grid living, but that's expanded and now they're in Idaho and they are also Someday Dad and Someday Adventure. And they are showing the lifestyle of bringing up four boys in a great way of like, they do a lot of winter sports and just they do fishing and they homeschool, but they also, they live in Boise, so they live in the city. They're not quite off the grid anymore. So, Chelsea, I will let you introduce that a little bit, but I also just want to share that we have become the best of friends, really, because we have become faithful friends. And that's what we're going to be sharing today. But Chelsea, if you want to share a little bit about what you and Nate do as a business and online, I'd love for that.
Yeah, thank you for that awesome introduction, Tracy. I feel like you really summed us up. We have four little boys. Gosh, we started blogging 12 years, almost 13 years ago, just sharing our life. Nate and I met, we were both very adventurous, like to travel a lot. We do a lot of outdoorsy things. And when we had kids, people were constantly like, what a bummer that you're going to have to stop since you're having kids. You're going to have to settle down. And we were like, no, thank you. So we just kept going with the kiddos in tow. We traveled full time for a while. We lived in an RV. Now we are settled down in Boise. I just love it here. We homeschool. The boys are in a part-time homeschool academy right now, so we have a lot of support. We've been through different charters. We're big proponents of school choice. And Nate and we run marketing programs for lots of different brands, as well as running our own brands. So definitely keeps us busy. And I actually met Tracy through this whole process. We met, gosh, years and years ago at some blogging conference, I think it was. And yeah, now we're
I'm
just
trying to remember. It was in New York. And a mutual friend got us, we ended up in the tiniest shared hotel room possible for two people who had never met before. It really was, but it brought us together, and you were pregnant at the time um,
yes,
with your second, third.
one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, and it just shows that life brings you together in funny ways. And both Chelsea and I believe that nothing happens by accident. And that's part of the Pebble journey for me. And I have to say that Chelsea has been a big supporter of how I got here for the Pebble show. Over the last year, she and I have been talking and praying almost every single weekday, unless something for our family has interfered. I don't even know. We had started, well, let's start at the beginning. The reason Chelsea and I became not just blogging acquaintances, but dear friends, is unfortunately we share a sisterhood that nobody wants. We both lost a sibling. And unfortunately, sibling loss is something that people don't talk enough about. It is a difficult niche. People understand how difficult it is if you lose your spouse or your child or your parent. But people really don't know what to say when you lose a sibling, and they kind of expect you to move on. So when I saw that unfortunately Chelsea lost her sibling, sister Chanel, I reached out to her on Facebook. And we hadn't had much contact except a couple of blogging conferences. And it was kind of an odd thing to do, but I just felt like I was supposed to. I saw her on Facebook, and frankly, I hadn't seen her much on Facebook because we weren't friends. We were blogging acquaintances. But when I saw her speak about her sister, I just knew I was supposed to say something. So I dropped her a DM and I thought, she's going to think I'm crazy. But she responded immediately. I just said, listen, I know what it's like, and most people don't. And if you need a friend, I'll be here. And
Yeah.
from that, we became sisters.
That was so helpful at that time and so meaningful and still is. You know, my sister was my other half, really. I know people say that about their spouses, and I love my husband and everything, but there's just this bond when you grow up, especially you know, she was my only sibling that I grew up with. I have step siblings now who came along when I was a teenager, but we were just always attached at the hip, and losing that kind of bond is really difficult. And I feel like Tracy has really helped me go off into the world on my own, recovering from that and really learning how to be a less codependent adult. I feel like, that's the guidance has just been so helpful and so appreciated. I love you.
I love you too. And well, I'm glad that I could have been a part of that. And also, so people know you shared a birthday. So you also had an extra special relationship. And from that friendship that grew, we started talking more. And she's also, by the way, this is not one sided. She's helped me with some things in my family that I needed advice, that she had a unique perspective. So this is in no way just a one sided friendship. And I guess somewhere around November 2020, after the worst year in the world, we said, you know what? I'd really like someone to pray with on a regular basis. And stay with us. Neither of us are, oh, people, okay? We just needed someone to have a quiet moment to focus on our faith and starting our day right. And because we're not people, right? And so Monday through Friday, starting at the beginning of 2021, I'm 2022, sorry.
You know, the
These
years,
all conflate, don't they?
I'm like, what year
The-
is it now? Yeah.
Yeah, the end of 2021, we made this decision. Last year was 2022. It's 2023, 2023. Oh my gosh. Don't they all just seem to run together
The
since
whole
the
blurs
pandemic?
together.
Oh my gosh. So fix the math for Tracy on the calendar. Yeah. 2021 is when we started the conversation. 2022 is the year. And because part of the reason I made that decision is that for me, the word was faith. I had a lot of things in my heart that I decided that I wanted to do. And I knew to do them, I needed to grow my faith. So I asked her, would you be interested in just a little moment of prayer? So we thought this was going to be like 5 minutes. We move on to your day. God bless our husbands because, and our children too, especially hers because hers are home. And most days, these are at least 30 to 45-minute talks. And sometimes our prayers are 2 minutes and sometimes they're longer, depending on what all we need. But they're deep talks and sometimes they're not. But we've just flourished as spiritual partners. And that's why we wanted to share this because what it's done for us over the last year is why I feel like I'm actually doing this project. And Chelsea, you might want to talk about what your word was and how you really felt that it did make your word happen.
Yeah, it's been amazing to watch to watch your journey of faith, and my journey of prosperity was my word, because coming out of the pandemic as a marketing professional, that was a tricky time. And I was saying, okay, God, I just need to know that I have a secure, solid foundation moving forward for my family. And I need prosperity in this year. And wow, it's amazing what can happen when two people come together in prayer. I am definitely a believer. And like Tracy said, neither of us are like, real loud in our faith. I feel like we're both kind of a little reserved. I know for me, I was coming off of some church hurt experiences, and just coming back to the basics really, and wanting to pray on a daily basis. And I moved my family into a new home. My business has easily quadrupled in the last year. I am excited every day to wake up and do the work that I do. And yeah, I have that secure foundation that I needed for moving forward. And I
Yeah.
think Tracy got the faith that she asked for.
I and it's allowed me to move into this project. And one of the things that we both agreed on is she and I share faith, and that's beautiful, and that allows us to pray together. But we both agreed that we felt like the focus that it gave us is universal, and that's why we felt like we could share it, is that she and I come together and it gives us such a peace and to go into the day. Like both of us come in, and sometimes we have to talk before we pray because we're like, oh, and yes, and then it's like,
We
now,
all have those days like, what gives?
and then we pray, and it's like, all right, now I'm ready. I'm ready for the day. I'm ready. And we both have had damage from people who profess a faith and have hurt. And we know there are people out there that have been hurt. And so we wanted to say that you can have a faith and not be like that. You can find a friend like we have and just be with that person and just find the heart of the matter and find that childhood faith. Like for me, I often talk about remembering as a child, that just the wonder of it. And I think that's what I've gotten back to. And that's what I like with Chelsea, and what I hope to share, because have found so much more of that faith. And that's what brings me to this year, and what Chelsea and I want to share a lot. Chelsea's going to be here a lot, I hope, because her word is
Joy. This year,
with,
I'm just moving forward with joy.
and my word is spark. So together we are
Joy.
spark joy. And so we're hoping to do some work together. And I just can't think of anything better than sparking joy in people's lives. And this project, the Pebble, is part of that. I would not be doing this if I hadn't gone through the work over the last year. I have been trying to find kind of the project of my life, and it's difficult. And I was saying to Chelsea, I'm at the beginning and I'm doing a lot of work, and I don't know that it'll be seen at the beginning, but that's okay, because this is if you build it, they will come. And I am putting the faith work that I've done into this, and I'm just going to keep doing it, because I believe that the whole point of the pebble is I am throwing my pebble into the sea. It's one pebble. But if you see it and it moves you, then you're throwing your pebble. Chelsea threw her pebble in. Actually, I think Chelsea's throwing multiple pebbles all the time. So she's got handfuls, but we're turning the tide. And I have to believe what I'm saying, which is I have to just do my part, which is putting that pebble in. And I hope when you see this, you will feel better. your back will straighten. And just by that, you just threw a pebble in, right? That's the whole point.
I love
So
that analogy. I mean, you never know who's going to come along and pick that pebble up later. That's the faith part of it. You don't necessarily know who you're going to impact, and you don't get to see that, but you have faith that
that's
it's
the
happening.
hard part. You know, if you think about the Good Samaritan, you don't know the Samaritan's name. Most good acts, you never know them. You don't see them because they didn't that doesn't catch the news, right? My mother's favorite thing is like whenever I'm running late for something, I get a stoplight or whatever, she's like, you just don't know that wasn't supposed to happen. God just saved you from a car accident and you don't know it because it didn't happen. And I get at first I'm like, oh mom, don't, and then I'm like, no,
I
she's
love
right.
your
I know my mom's the best because it's unseen. The things that don't go wrong, we don't say thank you for, right? We don't have gratitude for the millions of things that don't go wrong because they go unseen. We only see what went wrong. But if we turn the tide, if we look at it differently, what didn't go wrong? The millions of steps that you didn't trip, right? All of those things, it's all a perspective, right? So that's what the pebble is. If every time we took just a second and went, wow, I didn't fall all day long. So when I tripped, instead of getting mad that I tripped, if I went, well, it's 9 p.m. How many steps did I take without tripping? Because I'm a klutz. So I could look at life that way. I
yeah,
could start to do that. That's the kind of thing that the pebble could be about. Just think how differently the world would look.
yeah.
So,
It's
anyway,
that shift perspective and attitude of gratitude. And I know I've quoted this scripture a zillion times over the last year, but all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord.
and
We don't
that
all-
is not a bad one to keep in your head, just to, and for those who sometimes think that means that we're saying that the bad things were supposed to happen, we're not. And as you get to know Chelsea, she will tell you she is never going to say that to you. But what we're saying is that bad things do happen. And I've had them happen to me too. She knows that. But we can let them take us down, or we can find a way to do the work and be stronger. Because you can't fix the past in a way that to make it go away. We can't undo it, but we can try to little steps to make things better. And we won't say it's a quick thing. We won't be the people to say smile and it'll be okay. Chelsea especially is not going to be that one. Chelsea will tell you, of all the people in the world, she is not the one to say smile to fix it.
no,
But we believe that faith and hard work will make a difference.
yeah,
And I'm so glad that you're going to be a part of this journey with me.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm proud of you and all that you work over the years and seeing you grow. And now that you're going to share that with me means so much. And so you'll see her a lot on Fridays because faith is very important to both of us. And occasionally on Tuesday Truths when we tackle some more difficult subjects, but not too heavy. That's not the thing here. That this is not trauma, porn type thing. That's not who we are. We're about rising above and and uplifting. So we and we're going to have a little fun because it sparked joy for us.
Exactly. Thanks for
Anything
having
else you want to share before we?
I don't think so. I'm excited to be here today and to be on this journey with you moving forward. It's gonna be great.
Well, I feel beyond honored to be your friend, much less to have you as a guest. And I want to thank everyone who came on our first Faith Friday. And again, we welcome everyone because this is more about finding the thing that opens up your heart to be the best person you can be. Because if you are here, you matter and you're here for a purpose. And so we're sharing our journey to help you on your journey. And so thank you again for joining us in this episode of The Pebble. And thank you, Chelsea.
Thanks, Tracy.